Hi, my name is Anna Smith, and I'm applying for the SI position for the fall term of 2024. And the bone I'll be teaching today is the innominate or coxal bone. So this is only one half of the pelvic girdle, and the first thing you really need to do for this bone is determine what side it is. And there was two main features I used to determine that. The first was the acetabulum, or this very deep divot, which essentially forms the ball and socket joint of the leg for the femur. The second feature is the pubis. The pubis is the most medial portion of this bone, which allows you to determine what's the middle. And so once you've determined these two features, you can basically be aware that this is going to be the left coxal bone. So there are three main portions to this bone. There's the ilium, there's the ischium, and there's the pubis. The ilium is most superior, and it happens to sit a little more laterally. The pubis is the most medial, as discussed, and the ischium is going to be the most distal. It's going to be the furthest down, essentially. So let's get into the main portions of this. In the more medial portion of this bone, there's the iliac fossa and the auricular surface. And the auricular surface is very rough, and it reminded me of an ear. It's kind of like ear-shaped. And so I really remembered it that way. On the more posterior portion of this bone, there is the ala of the ilium, which is the wing, essentially, the wing of the bone. And so it really kind of does look like a wing. It's got that curved surface. So now, moving most superiorly, there is the iliac crest. I remember this, it kind of reminded me of a dinosaur, like a brontosaurus. As you move down, and posteriorly, you hit the posterior superior iliac spine. Then, below it is the posterior inferior iliac spine. And these two kind of go hand in hand. They also directly connect to the anterior superior iliac spine and anterior inferior iliac spine. Back to the posterior, there is the greater sciatic notch, which is located very high and just below the ilium. And then below the ischial spine, which we'll get to a little bit later, is the lesser sciatic notch. There's also the body of the ilium, which can be seen here and here. And this essentially connects the acetabulum and is just essentially the body. From here, we can move more medially, and specifically let's focus on the obturator foramen. I had a friend who remembered this as obturator, which I found really helpful because it sounded similar and also reminded me of a song. And so it helped to remember that this is the obturator foramen, which has its own nerves, veins, and arteries running through, or the obturator nerve, artery, and vein. It is comprised of three rami. There's the superior ramus of pubis, there's the inferior ramus of pubis, and there's the inferior ramus of the ischium. So this is also the body of the pubis, and those are the main features of the pubis. There's only really the three: pubis and then the two rami. There's also the ischium. There's the body of ischium, which is located right next to the acetabulum and is superior. There is the tuberosity, the ischial tuberosity, and this is essentially an anchoring point for many muscles. This is what you sit on, which really helped me remember that this is what basically softens your seat, makes it so it's comfortable to sit. Without this bone and all the muscles anchoring to it, it would not be very comfortable to sit. Located posteriorly, there's also the ischial spine, as previously mentioned. And so this is where the sciatic notches are. Finally, there is the place where the two pubic bones meet, which is the pubic symphysis. And the two pubic symphyses comprise the pubic arch. And what I really liked about this bone, what I found most interesting, was that the pubic arch on males tends to be more of a V shape, and the pubic arch on females tends to be more U-shaped. And it being more U-shaped essentially allowed birth to happen easier. And so I really remembered that as like a key difference, and I also remembered it because I think that's a really cool anatomical difference. So yeah, that's the coxal bone. Thank you.